I didn't think I'll be making a review video, but I just watched Zootopia 2 in the cinema and there's so many thoughts I want to get out. So as a quick review, I would say Zootopia 2 is a good sequel that could have been great. Alright, there, that's a short review. You can go now, bye! Still here? Okay, prepare to hear a Birb rant for way too long about a kids movie. So Zootopia 2 or Zootropolis 2 here in the UK. Seriously, why is it called Zootropolis here? Like, I know what Metropolis is, like that place in DC and Superman, but is it like Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and the Sorcerer's Stone all thing over again? Like, is the British just that posh that they want a more fancier title? It was really bizarre to watch the movie and have a completely different script, because they replaced all the Zootopia words, but with Zootropolis, so it was very jarring. Anyway, here's some things I got for the cinema. Can't wait to look like a bellend wearing these. Another funny thing, as we were watching the previews for the movie, we saw this movie called Goat, and I was so thrown off because it's a new furry movie that's produced by Sony and freaking Steph Curry. I was watching it, I was like, huh? Basketball? Spider-Verse and the K-pop Demon Hunters animation team? I could only imagine that that's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT! Memes played out the entire movie. Anyway, let's get to talk about Zootopia 2 itself. So this is going to be a spoiler review, as I'm going to be talking about like key points of the movie, so be warned. So the movie takes place sometime after the first movie, but I didn't think they explained how long exactly since it's been from the first movie. Because the movie says that Judy and Nick have been buddy cop partners for not so long of time, but they make their "it's the anniversary" joke a bunch of times throughout the movie. But I look at the Reddit and people are still confused about when it takes place. But what I've gathered online, or for what really I try to remember, it like from the movie, is like it seems to take place sometime like around a week since Nick officially became a cop. So that means they only been like an official duo for just a week. So I want to go over that information. They've only been official partners for a week? I've always been like a year since they became a duo, but a week? You're telling me this entire time this buddy cop relationship between Judy and Nick has been barely developed this entire time, and they've only been partners for a week? I guess it's a way for Judy's character story that she wants to continue to prove herself and be gung-ho about it all the time. But these two just busted a major race war conspiracy. I don't know how anyone would doubt that at that point as a duo. Like, maybe if the other cops were like jealous or something, but they just keep calling them rookies, and I don't know, like, it just feels like a lame excuse. Anyway, so Nick and Judy, they go to stop some illegal smuggling stunts, and then Nick and Judy also go undercover as parents of a baby. It's gonna be started a lot of couple seasons, by the way. Oh, and the baby is Finnick, just like in the first movie. Now, for a quick tangent, I want to talk about Finnick. Like, I know his voice actor sadly passed away, and they only really used voice kit that was recorded from the first movie. But man, I thought Finnick was like such an underused character in the first movie. Like, I was really hoping they could do some more with him in the future. But I understand if they want to either just recast him or just not include the character anymore in subsequent stories, which is a shame. Anyway, back to the plot. The chase scene happens, some collateral damage happens, a lot of quick fire animal jokes here and there. They eventually catch the guy they were chasing, and then we get a look at the new mayor, who's an actor horse. I've seen that before. He's voiced by Patrick Warburton. So Chief Vocal gives the talkie to Nick and Judy, and then tells them to go to partners therapy. I get more of their relationship teasing. Though the therapy scene got everyone laughing at the jokes that were used, so I can't complain too much about that scene. But I don't like how they kept teasing this relationship. So she gets Nick to go undercover with her to the gala, which is hosted by this Linksley family. And this is also the part where Judy meets the new internet sensation, Paulbert Linksley, who is voiced by Andy Samberg. I wasn't expecting much going into the movie, but I'll talk about more of him later. So after the meeting, a chase ensues and Judy catches up to the snake, who isn't actually a bad guy. Some misunderstandings happen, Chief Vogel gets knocked out accidentally, and Nick and Judy are framed for being criminals and for helping a snake and also potentially killing Chief Vogel. Also, Chief Vogel gets sidelined throughout the whole movie, and all I can think of was the Hitch's elbow just busy again. Like, he wasn't really there that much in the first movie, so I just felt like, is he still that busy again that he's barely in the movie? And anyway, what I thought was going to happen was that Judy will run off with Gary the snake, to and be on the run with the cops. But instead, Gary just gets taken away by this mass cyclist. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Okay, so I want to go over this part because this is quite a nitpick I have in the movie. We barely saw Gary the Snake throughout the whole movie. Like, I thought he was going to tag along with the duo, but the ads also make it seem like it's going to be like this whole adventure with the three of them, you know? Like, I thought Gary would be the one to like introduce the two to like the world of the reptiles, or where they've been, or what they do, and learn about their culture and all that stuff. So when they got to the Martians, I thought they would like catch up with Gary, and then they realize, oh, they're not there. This is all a misunderstanding. We all want to help each other, that kind of deal. And that's what I thought was going to happen once they get to the marshlands. Instead, we got something different. We instead have a beaver conspiracy theorist that tag along with the two for a lot of the movie instead. So don't get me wrong, I don't really hate this character, and I don't really find Nibbles the Beaver that bothersome. It's more like I feel like they could have used her more sparingly. Like if she was like the one that helped them, you know, get to the marshland safely. If they were the ones who smuggled them, like if Nibbles was like the one that helped them sneak into marshland without getting caught by the CPD. Like she could have been like the main getaway driver or something, I don't know. Speaking of the marshlands, we also get to see how even the marine animals, what they've been up to. So we see like seals, sea lions, and make a joke about the comparison of the two. We also see dolphins, walruses, and so on. But we also find out what the other reptiles are, and where they live, and what they do. But here's also another nitpick of the movie. We barely saw any reptiles in the movie, you know, the whole premise of the second movie, showing the reptiles of this world. Instead, we only get one bar scene with a lot of them. Like, they were mostly there for a quick gag or something, and then we're off to the next story beat already. I wouldn't mind seeing less of these reptiles, but it only really makes sense if Gary was with Nick and Judy in the entire way. Okay, I don't want to seem like I'm some Gary the Snake stan. Like, I thought his character was alright, I just care about the character dynamics and their, you know, developments and everything. I really thought he could have added a lot to Judy and Nick's relationship. You know, showing how Nick is afraid of snakes, but then Judy needs to convince him to get over his prejudice or something like that. And when Nick and Judy get a league and they run away from the cops again, but they also chase Gary the Snake as well. And there was also the moment where they go down these water pipes and Judy almost drowns to death, but then Nick comes in and saves her. So after the save, they two bicker for a moment, but at no point of the argument where it shows Nick clearly telling Judy that she almost died. And I'm surprised Nick didn't express himself like of how traumatic it would have been for him to see her die. I don't think he really got that message across. I mean, I understand like the whole teasing thing is that like he can't get his true feelings out because he's so bottled his feelings up. But I just couldn't understand at that point you saw your partner almost die and your reaction just felt so tame compared to what she's been saying. Like, I'm surprised he didn't crash out on her or something like that, especially how traumatic it could have been for him. But now we just get more relationship teasing again. Like, we see some goats come by, and they kept teasing that it's on their honeymoon or something like that. So Judy and Nick climb this mountain, they argue some more, and then the recording pen from the first movie, it gets accidentally dropped and it breaks on the floor. Some tensions happen, but really it's just more relationship teasing as they continue up to the cabin. And then this is where the part where they find more clues about the true nature or the true history of the reptiles and snakes. So at this point, the ZPD catches up, and then Nick and Judy are separated. Nick gets arrested, and then Judy goes off with Gary and, you guessed it, Paul Bird, who was the mad cyclist the whole time. So at this point, we mostly follow along with Judy, and then we get to see what Paul Bird and Gary are like. We get to see how they became to be partners, and we get to see more about Paul Bird's background. So he's the runt of the wealthy, powerful family who is socially awkward and wants to be accepted. I can see why the internet loves him. So the rest of the main plot is that Judy and Nick uncover more of the conspiracy that reptiles were actually part of Zootopia's conception or inception. And that the founder was actually Gary's the snake's like grandma or something, but who was then framed for killing a maid and shunned away from the main part of society. You know, I wasn't expecting a theme of ethnic cleansing in the Disney movie. And then we cut to Nick in prison, so he's also in jail with Nibbles, who also got arrested. And obviously more relationship teasing happens. Nick doesn't fully get his heart out there. But they eventually break out of the prison and release also a bunch of other prisoners as well. Which goes the land villain from the first movie, which I forgot her name already. What, Bellwether or something? I think this is also the part where they include a lot of the characters from the first movie as cameos. Like, it's just weird to see some of the characters like from the first movie in the ads, because we barely see them for like 5 seconds and then we completely skip out past them. I mean, for me watching the movie with my friends, I was like, oh, there's that character from the first movie, but that's about it. Anyway, another chase happens where Judy, Gary, and Paulberg get to this big wall that's like both an air conditioner and a heater, I guess, because they come from the desert area to this wall, which gets to the tundra area, which blasts snow on the other side. We're all trying to find a way to get these documents that Gary's grandma had that proves that they were the ones who founded Zootopia. So Judy, Gary, and Paulberg get to the station where they can turn on these lighthouse so they can find where the hidden town was, the hidden original town, I guess. And then, oh boy, we're gonna talk about it. Paulberg does a heel turn and stabs Judy with a poison ejector or something and throws Gary the snake into the snow. Yes, Paulberg just has so many daddy issues that he just reminds me of Zuko from the Avatar series, where he's like the son of a noble family and tries to gain the honor of his family. It's like we don't get an entire arc with Paulberg, we only just get one movie with him. So that means we don't get that much of a rewarding outcome. You know, before watching this movie, I didn't really know anything about Paulberg other than the furry community lusting over him and hyping him up to be this new furry husbando of the year or something. By the way, I'm still Team Sona myself, by the way. And that's all I knew about him. I knew nothing about his background or how he's supposed to be a twist villain. I didn't want to believe that he was a villain character when he revealed himself or something. I said it because just making him a twist villain was just bad storytelling and all for morals to give to kids. Like, is Disney trying to say that if you're in an abusive, toxic relationship with your family, that you should try everything to win their approval? But we don't get Judy or Gary trying to convince him to change his mind. I mean, they try, but obviously it failed. But they could like try to say like, oh, his families, and you're not always not worth it. We're your friends or something like that. I don't know, just something. It would have been better than what we actually got. Like, I was hoping for like a scene when he gets like caught and captured at the end, that he eventually like change his mind or show remorse or regret of what he's done. So he just becomes another crazy bad guy. Like, oh my god, this character is such wasted potential. Like, it's just a guy that the internet's been falling over. The freaking I can fix him crowd. I can see why the internet loves him. Alright, I'm talking about Paulberg enough. So I'm gonna breeze through the last act or something, and then we'll see what my final thoughts are. So Nick, Judy, and Gary, or I guess Nibbles too, I guess. But also at the same time, the Mare Horse was also fighting off the other Link Sleeves and then rebelling against them. Which I'm glad that the Horse Mare didn't become another corrupt mare or something. He actually became like his character or something in his movies, that he's a hero or someone who fights justice. I love that though. So the group gets to the original town, and Gary gets to find his original deed, but then Paulberg does like a Shining reference and catches up to them and almost burns everything down. But they stop Paulberg for good, and then a happy ending happens where the original deed is shown to the public, Lynxes are arrested, reptiles welcome back to Zootopia, Gary's family reunites, and more Judy and Nick relationship teasing once again to end off the movie. And of course, like the last movie, we get a dance party tradition with Shakira performing. And you know, I actually think I like the song. I like the song more than the Try Everything song from the first movie. It's a lot more catchier, I would say. Okay, let's go over some thoughts about the movie. First, I got to talk about Judy and Nick's relationship through the entire movie, and how they kept teasing the will they, won't they kind of teasing. That's like the main takeaway that me and my friends had after watching the movie. Where like we just felt annoyed and kind of blue-balled that this relationship just didn't really progress or something. Like there was some progression, like it is happening. But it just the way that the movie sets them up to be, it just makes it feel like they're going to confess the true feelings of love or something. It's almost like the writers knew what they were doing, and they wanted to tease this fandom so much because they knew this fandom loves to ship these two so much. So they wanted to bait them to make them see the next movie so they could find out if they actually would do it in the next movie or something. Like, I wouldn't mind that, but every scene where they do like a confession scene, it just feels like they were actually going to confess they actually do like each other in that way. But really, I can't really mind it because they've only been partners for a week. Yes, I'm still on that. Like, it just felt forced most of the time. I just couldn't believe like they had much chemistry because of the short amount of time they had. Well, because they've only been partners for a week? Also, there was an after credit scene that I didn't watch in the cinema because my friends were really hasty about leaving and wanted to grab some lunch, but that means we missed the after credit scene where they started teasing the birds. Finally, some representation. And so we finally reached a conclusion of the review. I know the majority of this video has been mostly me complaining about the movie, so I'll talk about things I did like about the movie. First, the animation and the visuals in general. My god, the movie is beautiful, I would say. Now, the character designs are always top notch, but then the scenery, the lighting, the effects is like so mesmerizing. I wanted to watch the movie again, just so I can just look at the backgrounds and we see what's going on. Secondly, I think the jokes and the comedy, I feel like they hit, at least with us at least with the cinema and all my friends. I think a lot of it landed. Like, I know there was a lot of like admirable jokes or puns, but I felt like, at least with me, my friends, and the rest of the cinema, we all had a great laugh out of it. And lastly, I think the voice acting was really good. I think everyone did a great job. No one really stood out as being phoned in or anything like that. I mean, my friends were also blown away by the amount of cameos there were. Like, I did not know there was that many celebrity cameos in that movie. Like, when me and my friends got to the credits part, a lot of the time we would be like, "Whoa, there's a celebrity that I recognize." But for me, the most surprising cameo was Roman Reigns and CM Punk as the Zebras. I was just like, what? And that's about the main review for Zootopia 2. So I want to talk about what I could change or improve. So how would I go about changing about the overall plot? First, I wanted to make sure the film takes place after a year of Nick and Judy's buddy cop relationship. This establishes that Nick and Judy are a good team, but Judy still has the desires to be more serious and go after like the more top priority kind of cases. But Nick also wants to be safe and wants to live the less risky life. And because of that, they bicker and they argue about the differences throughout the whole year. And it comes to a boiling point when they like botch a case or something. And then Chief Bogo tells them to go on couples therapy. I mean, partners therapy. This then makes their relationship much more believable, I feel like. Like, do I want them to officially be a couple in this movie? It depends on the story direction. Like, if the theme of like love is an important thing, then sure, you can make them a couple. But personally, I do like slow burn relationships. It just offers more room for development, but it shouldn't boil over on for too long. Because that's what the movie felt like when it comes to their relationship teasing. I felt like there were too many moments where they feel like, oh, are they going to confess their feelings now? But at the same time, it felt like a bit too soon to be doing that. That's the reason why when I watched the movie, I just felt like, I don't feel like it should be confessing the feelings now. It feels too soon. But I say that because like I wanted the development to happen more throughout the movies, like something more that tests their relationship or something. Okay, and now let's talk about Gary the Snake. I thought he was going to tag along with Judy and Nick the entire time, so that's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted Gary the Snake to be with Nick and Judy after the first time they encounter him. I want them to be like, Judy and Nick help Gary the Snake's body after he gets knocked out. They have them be on the run instead of him being thrown out on the cyclist guy. Like, I wouldn't mind if Palmer was like tailing them and trying to avoid being seen by the ZPD or the rest of his family. Like, I thought Gary the Snake was gonna be tagging along with Judy and Nick after, that first incident where they actually knocked him out. And I want to be like together as they search for the original deed, but at the same time, Gary helps give exposition to what the rest of the reptiles are like, while also befriending Nick, who eventually gets over his like fear of snakes or something like that. And then Judy will be supportive of Gary and also helps Nick get over that fear. Because, it'll help show that Nick being prejudiced to snakes or reptiles would be kind of a hypocritical thing because of, the reputation of foxes and everything. Okay, and now we gotta talk about Paul Bird. So how would I change what Paul Bird has done in the movie? Like, maybe instead of Paul Bird backstabbing Judy and throwing Gary into the snow, like they should reveal that Paul Bird was always a plant by his family, and they wanted to get the trust of Judy and Gary and stuff like that. Like, it will show why he had his phone the entire time before Judy destroys it because she knows it was going to be tracked. And then we have Paul Bird's siblings show up to ambush Gary and Judy to like incapacitate them or something. Like, have them be the one to stab Judy with the poison, and then the other one throws Gary into the snow. But then, like, obviously, when Paul Bird watches what his siblings are doing to his new friends, he would have second thoughts, and then realizes that his friends are more important than his toxic family, and then proceeds to fight his family. Like, obviously, it would be in a 1v2 situation, so it would be in a big disadvantage, but then you have the moment where Nick and Nibbles arrive to save the day, and then they all work together to beat the siblings. Because this also gives the siblings some actual screen time and shows what kind of relationship that Paul Bird had with them. Then after the Lynxes get arrested, we can see that, like, with Paul Bird helping the group, that he'll be exempt from the crimes that they committed. And then he can confront his dad and tell him all about how horrible dad he was to him or something like that. But then with that change, it starts to make me wonder if Paul Bird will inherit the Lynxy fortune, and because of that, he might like support some charities or support his friends and in their endeavors and all that stuff. Maybe Nick and Judy get their own house or something, and to keep up with more of the relationship teasing. But that's really about it. My main gripes of the movie was just how they used Paul Bird and his family. Like, I get the movie would be too long if the movie focused more on them. But come on, they're like the main antagonists for the entire movie. Just give them some more screen time and development. Anyway, I'm done with this review. It took me about 2 to 3 weeks to make, and I'm tired. But I'm glad to get this off my chest. I haven't been this passionate to make a video like this in a very long time, so I hope this turned out well, and you enjoy me rambling for way too long. And for that, I say thank you, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!